first press conference. Yeah. And our first opportunity to have a feature film being made here. How exciting. And then there was light. So I just want to tell you, it's not every day of the week that we get to do this. We have a film crew here, and much less bona fide actors and real celebrities and real filmmakers. And we're very delighted, and we thank the Bradenton Area Film Commission who are sponsoring today's press conference and helping out with a lot of the filmmaking. And as you know, And Then There Was Light is a fictional story, but the services here at Southeastern Guide Dogs are very, very real. So I just want to tell you what is going to happen today, and why you'll get an opportunity to also find out why we're doing this film and why it's important to us, because this film is about how the love and support of a very special animal in particular transforms a young girl's life. And that's what we do here every single day, is we transform lives with our superhero dogs who are able to help the visually impaired and veterans. And first we're going to hear from two groups of people. We'll have two others come in around 10:30, Amy and Bert. And this first group will include everyone that you see here, and we're going to have an opportunity to find out who they are, a little bit about them, and what role they play in the film. And we're going to start with the director, Castile Landon, with the beautiful red hair down there. And then we will have Liam. And is Avery coming to this first group? Avery's here, good. Avery, AJ Michalka, Nick Bateman, and a very familiar face from Booker High School, Charlie Barnett.
Also Jack Griffo.
And Jack Griffo is here. Jack is with the first group. And Castile, let's get started first by tell us a little bit about yourself and about the film and what inspired you to do it here. And then if you would, introduce each of our actors that are here, and each of you give us a little bit of information about yourself and what role you play in the film and why you're doing the film. That would be wonderful. So starting with Castile.
Obviously the paycheck. No, just kidding. None of us. I am Castile Landon. I wrote and am directing the film And Then There Was Light. This is my second feature as a director, and I started as an actor, but have moved into directing. I wrote the film because I really like telling family stories, and I wanted something that I could relate to, that I liked to watch when I was a younger person, but I also wanted people of all ages to be able to relate to it, and also to portray a sensitive subject in a way that people could understand and empathize with, and realize that this is a reality for a lot of people. You know, almost 300 million people have visual impairments, and it's not something we think about every day, or really any day, and it could happen to anyone. And so this 14-year-old girl goes through that, and I think everyone that watches it will be more grateful and realize, you know, what they have, and that's kind of what Bailey's going through. So these are my lovely actors. This is Jack Griffo, and this is Avery Arendez, Nick Bateman, AJ Michalka, and Charlie Barnett, and they can all introduce themselves as well.
Hey, I'm Charlie Barnett. I'm from Sarasota, Florida, so I'm very happy to be returning, and especially to be doing this project. Friend of Castile's for a long time, and got a call from her just to come down and do the film. I'm playing Dr. Copeland, who is a vet, kind of a baffled vet when he sees a pony walk in. The project itself is an incredible project. It's a great story. It's sweet, it's interesting, and it's funny. And I knew I just wanted to be involved with it, specifically too because it's being shot here. And I'm happy to be here to support Southeastern Dogs as well.
Hi, I'm AJ Michalka, and I play the role of Kai. My character is actually based on Susie here, who's in the audience, and I've gotten to know her well over the last couple days, which has really been a blessing for me. I play a staff member at Southeastern Guide Dogs, recently suffering with RP. My character's had it for 2 years in this story, and in a way, I'm kind of able to guide Bailey, who is now suffering from this visual impairment. So it's kind of neat that my character gets to kind of pass down knowledge and some positivity and light to her sweet character. And I'm just really happy to be here. This script has so much heart and soul, and to be a part of something with depth and just a really beautiful story is a real blessing for me as an actress. So I'm happy to be a part of this film.
Hey guys, my name is Nick Bateman. Simple role in this movie. I'm playing the eye doctor, Dr. Grant. So I'm the one who has the unfortunate time to diagnose that she is losing her sight. So I met Castile about a month ago, and when I found about this project, I thought it was, pretty interesting to shed light on people who have, visual problems. And I thought this role was funny because I actually had something wrong with my vision for a while. I got like the worst case of conjunctivitis you could possibly get, and I almost lost a bit of my sight. And when she's like, "Oh, could you pull off this eye doctor jargon?" and I was like, "Oh, I've been there," and I had to be at an eye doctor for a month straight listening to all this stuff. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." So I'm excited to be a part of it and to work with these talented other actors. So.
I'm Avery Rendez. I'm playing Bailey, and this is my second film as an actress. And the first one was with Castile, and I really love Bailey because she's a rider, and I ride horses too. So it's something that's really relatable because it could actually happen to me. So it makes it so much more real. Bailey's just like amazing.
Cool. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to use this one? All right, this mic. I like this mic. Hey guys, I'm Jack Griffo. I play Sebastian in the film. My character, Bailey, kind of meets towards the beginning of the film, and she starts to lose her vision. And my character is kind of the first sign of someone who has the same impairment and is kind of dealing with it in a positive way. And it's a cool character to be because it kind of shows her that it's not the end of the world and she's not going to die, and it's helping her through this process. And when I got the audition for the film, I was really, really excited. Not only for me personally, because obviously I've never gotten the opportunity to play a blind person before, and I don't know if I'll ever have it again. But also the fact that this film is really special, and when I read the script, immediately became really emotionally attached to it. And I met with Castile like a month ago or so, and just really connected with her and talked about the script and really liked everything that she had to say, and really, really excited to be a part of this film. I think it's really special. I think people are going to really like it.
Did I see? We now have Liam. Woo!
Fashion.
Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what role you play.
Sure, absolutely. Hello? Oh, it works. The system works. Hi, I'm Liam McIntyre. I'm an Australian playing an American. I play Jason, who is the dad of this lovely lady. It's just... first of all, it's exciting for me because I get to play like a regular person and not someone in like a loincloth or something, which is great. No, but it's... Yeah, oh yeah, that's in the late editions. Okay, yeah, double golden rods. But yeah, no, it's a really, as I've already heard a lot of people saying, it's a really special script. It's a really exciting story. It's just... it's nice to be able to be part of something that actually kind of is important. It's telling a story that people need to hear, that something that people go through. And you don't actually get to hear a lot about. You don't get the opportunity to tell a story about someone dealing with disability or learning to deal with disability in this way very often. So in that way, it's like a really unique and special story. And I get to play my role. I find really fascinating because as the dad, I've recently lost my job. And I'm struggling with that, and kind of the idea of that sort of idea of male identity and being a house husband and what that means, and him trying to adjust to, what he expects of himself versus what the right, being a good dad, and that means, just it sort of changes what that means. He thinks, I guess, being a good dad at some level is the guy bringing home the money, and as he goes through this story, he learns to, really reassess who he is and how he relates to his daughter and to his wife and to the world in a way. And it's for me as a character, it's a really great personal journey to try to explore this struggle that like a lot of couples go through when someone close to them meets some sort of hardship. So it's it's going to be a really great adventure to go on for me, and I think it's a really cool story to tell.
That's why I wrote the script.
No, absolutely. I think that's the beautiful thing about it, and that's kind of what I was trying to get to. Where it's like, it's a story that, and whether it's specific to like someone that's dealing with blindness through whatever reason, or another disability, or if it's allegorical in that way, it's a story that, about families under pressure, and I think that's extremely relevant in so many ways. And while specifically it's a great story about what a kid has to go through as they realize they're going blind, which is harrowing. But just in general, as families go through all kind of hardships.
There's also, when I was getting Avery ready, because we did this film in Bulgaria last year, that was a very different role. And actually I sent both of them canes and glasses that are blackout glasses so that they could experience what it's like. And this one in particular, who has something to say about everything, it was really interesting to see how she clammed up, and it's not even clamming up, right? It's like if you're sitting at a table with a bunch of people, you don't know exactly what's going on. You can't pick up on social cues, and that changes everything, right? When you're used to being able to just interject and give your opinion, or even just crack a joke or whatever, if you can't read people's faces, if you can't read the crowd, you don't know what's right or what's appropriate to say. And she literally, we did an exercise in particular where it was all of our friends, and for 3 hours she had to sit there and not had to, because she also wanted to, but with her glasses on, and she just did not speak the entire time, which is amazing for this one especially. I think that changes. You can talk about it.
It's a hard task. No, it's easier said than done. Being not having sight, and to kind of piggyback on Liam's answer to your question. It's interesting because, like you were saying earlier, your character has this other layer of being a dad and losing his job, and I think what Castile did with the script, which is really cool and interesting, is that not only is there this blind aspect of the character of Bailey going blind, but I feel like for a lot of characters in this film, there's a lot of things going on. Like for me and Kai, my sister, we have this whole home life going on with our mom and dad, which you'll see in the movie, and so there's a lot of things going on. I think it gives the audience a lot of opportunity to connect to this film. That's why I think it's so. That's why I think the script is so special. We just shot that scene yesterday actually, and it was really really cool. And I think that I think it's cool just hearing you, Liam, talk about your character and how it kind of puts it in perspective how much is going on, and it just gives a lot of opportunity. So yeah.
I think through companionship too, it's something that yes. I think through companionship too is something that I really picked up on when I was reading the script, that everybody's going to be able to relate to this story of finding somebody, or even in a, I guess, unrecognizable way or kind of a surprise way, but having this companionship with the animal, with the family, you start to see these relationships and how through this girl becoming, I don't want to say infected, I guess just becoming blind, I don't know what the word is, but becoming blind, seeing how their relationships struggle, how they fortify, and so on and so forth. And kind of, I know for an audience member and just reading it, I know that that's something that I related to completely. But
I love this place. I would definitely, I would work here. I think it's the coolest place to work. I got here and immediately kind of fell in love with the atmosphere, and getting to know some of the people that work here has been really, really cool, and getting to know the dog that specifically I am working with, Bill, who is Rocco in the film, has been really, really cool. I love animals. I'm a big dog lover. And working with him and learning the commands and the cues and stuff has been really cool and actually really rewarding for me. And it adds a whole other element that you never really thought of into acting. And Southeastern Guide Dogs has been really, really great. I've been walking around here and meeting dogs and playing with the puppies, and it's just been really, really cool. And what they do here is really special, and I think that the film is really going to draw light to that, no pun intended.
Could you just talk about the orientation and mobility training that you had when you first came to White Cane?
Yeah, so like Castile was saying, she actually sent me a cane in the mail, and I live with 3 roommates who live with actors, and we all kind of help each other prepare for our roles, and they totally messed with me to kind of put me in the headspace of this character. Blindfolded me before I got glasses, and I got to kind of react to things not seeing them. I went out in Target and was blind. I went to the mall, got a lot of looks, but no one questioned me. It was actually funny. A couple of my friends. I know. No. That was when I went to a convenience store and bought glasses and went to a paint store and I spray painted them so I can put them on and a couple of my friends were like, "You sure? Like no one's gonna like question you?" And I was like, "I don't think anyone's gonna question someone who's blind. They come up to you like, are you actually blind?" Yeah. No, but it was very offensive. I would have been like, yes. But it was very, very cool getting ready to play this character, and I put really everything I had into it, and I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see this film, and I'm really proud of it.
Most of my films I've shot a little bit here, at least in the Bradenton and in Tampa areas. I like working at home. I mean, I'd also really love to work in LA because that's where I live now, but I get to come back and have my friends with me, which is really nice. And I also wrote this script specifically for here. So the first draft of it was a little more vague, and because we didn't really think that Southeastern would partner with us on something because they hadn't before. So once we secured that partnership in the second draft, I went and like really fine-tuned it, and there was really no other option but to shoot it here. And so we're really lucky, obviously, that they've given us the kind of access that we've had. But with Florida, I'd love to shoot my stuff here, and I hope I can shoot more of my stuff here. It all, I guess, depends on whether they get their incentive back. So that really needs to happen, for us at least, because I have a duty to my investors as well. So yeah, hopefully that happens.
Watch the movie.
Well, Bailey's not like blind throughout the whole. She is, but she becomes blind through it. It's like the whole process, and she's just losing her vision little by little. And I really talked to Castile about it a lot, and I practiced with the glasses like a ton. Like my sister would make me. We went and got our nails done like 3 times, and I had glasses on. And I'm like, does this even look good? I can't tell. And it was just like how Castile said, I do have something to say about everything apparently. And so when I'm sitting there at a table with like 9 people that I know so well, but I just can't talk because it's just all these voices and I can't see anything. So I don't know what to do really. I just didn't know what to say. So I sat there silently, and it made me realize what it was really like to be blind. And
we mapped out, right?
Yeah.
Where you are in the arc in each specific place.
We worked together about like trying to figure out where in the script where I was emotionally and how I would deal with it.
Being here at Southeastern, there's an energy when you walk on these grounds. Everyone that's here is so welcoming and loving. The women that I've met, the staff members and the volunteers, they really are here to change lives. And, I already knew that companionship with animals and man was so strong. And then actually being here and seeing that when it comes to a disability, like visual impairment or like the vets that are here, meeting the people that live here and also have been able to get to know these animals, it's pretty incredible, the bond. I knew of the bond, but not like this. And I've only been here a few days. This place has already transformed me. I am just like, I'm gonna go home really just as such a grateful human being. I'm so lucky, and to meet people with the heart and soul that I've met, it's really been incredible for me. I've had a really great time.
And something that stuck with me, our darling Susie here said, the second she put on the leash on her dog, she took it off her husband. And that is wonderful, right? Because it really does, it gives you your independence back. And we talk about that in the film where, you feel like you're going back, you're regressing, right, to a younger childhood state, because you spend your whole life trying to be independent and trying to be an adult, and then you lose all of that. You have to depend on other people. And that's something that with Kai's character, we did a lot of inner work on that, especially because she was this really fiercely independent person, and that's who Susie was. And to lose that as a human is very challenging, and you just don't think about that, right? I'm an equestrian, and so my stories stem from what I know, and also when I moved to LA at 15, I had to give up riding. So the first story that I came up with, which became Albion, was kind of inspired by wanting to be able to work with horses again, and then spun off from there, obviously, into a fantasy world. But yeah, that was kind of the first foray into it, was I can bring horses into my job, and then I can have the best of both worlds. And then I liked that. And also, I think a lot of directors shy away from working with animals. I know they do. They say don't work with animals or children, and so I work with both. And also a child pony. It's 10 months old. So yeah, that's why.
It has been different for me because I do feel like there's a good pressure behind it. I mean, you know, in a sense, I feel like it's so personal. I mean, I've gotten to know Susie not that well. I haven't had a lot of time here, but bonding with someone over an impairment that did change her life, but also has brought her so much positivity and joy. I know she's had a really large arc in her life because of going through this at an older age and not being born with it. You know, people ask what's worse. I have no idea. I can't imagine that there's even an answer to that, being born with it or gaining it later. But I really feel like playing a real person, which I have done in the past, it does take a lot of research. You know, I've only been on board the last week and a half with this film, so there is a little bit of a rush to learn as much as possible and to really take the piece seriously as I do. So, you know, getting to know Susie, you know, yesterday was just a blessing, and really hearing her story and you know, what maybe her attitude was like towards life before this impairment, and then how it's really changed her and actually really blossomed her from what I can see.
Two more people come in, and that is, and I don't want to embarrass him, but Charlie Barnett did something very, very special with regard to this film, and Charlie, would you tell us what you have there?
Yeah, I just have a check to donate to Southeastern Guide Dogs. I'm not sure who I should even give it to, but I'm thinking...
Titus, our CEO, is right here.
Yeah, Titus. I just wanted to donate this on behalf of myself and my family, as a thank you, and also to try and motivate more work and more people knowing about your program as well. So thank you. That's my right hand.
So let me just check. I'll be right back, find out where our other two guests are. And in the meantime, we do have one of our working dogs who is in the film waiting in the wings. And let's have Kate Polly is one of our trainers, and she's bringing in Butter, who is playing Daisy in the film. Kate, this is Kate Polly and Daisy, also known as Butter. So if you have any questions for Kate, Kate, come to the center.
She's a model right there.
Yes. Here, Kate, here you go. Do you have any questions?
Hello. Any questions about how we worked with the dogs or anything like that?
Well, how did you pick Butter for the role out of all the dogs that you have?
So Butter's personality is very calm, and that's actually, is that Butter?
Yes, you start over.
Yes. So we chose Butter for Kai's dog because we needed a dog that was going to be more mature, that had been already placed. We wanted a dog that really nothing phases her, and as you can tell, the crowds, other dogs. We spent a couple days with the little horse so that we were accustomed to that. So as you can tell, she is good to go, and this is why we had picked her.
What work went into preparing these animals for this
A lot of it was just doing their natural, so it was making sure that maybe calling different name, where from Butter to a Daisy. Come here, Butter. Butter, sit. Sit. Good girl, stay. And these dogs are all bred to want to please, so it's all about, and even when we're teaching the actors, it's, telling them, always praise the dog. Let them know that they're doing well. And because that's what our dogs are working for. And you'll see all of the trainers out here on campus, and they're always praising, and that's what, for them, is very, very important. So as long as they enjoy what they're doing, they're going to do whatever they need to.
Despite Butter's big celebrity status now, she will eventually, though, be put to work, right?
She is. She's actually an ambassador for our school. And so we get to, and as you can tell, she loves this. This is her thing. So, absolutely. Any other questions?
So can I get my wife to praise me? This way, and then I can do tricks for us.
It was a really long process, though, casting these dogs. Like, every single dog has a different personality, and we needed a lot of different personalities in the film. So we had, how many dogs do we have in the film?
I think we had close to 7.
Yeah, and we had a casting process for all of them and did different.
Room and like dogs going to crying.
That was exactly what it was. That was it.
Did you work together then, picking out the dogs? Or did you let Southeast pick out?
Kate mostly did it. Let's give credit to where
We had
credit
an
is due.
we
Kate
had
was
an
the doggy
idea.
casting director.
No.
I took all of my meetings at a restaurant with our actors. She brought these guys in.
Yep, I got a list of exactly what we were looking for. And so I went down, and because we know these dogs like the back of our hands, we paid really close attention to what each scene needed. And that's also part of our matching process when we match our students, so it worked out well.
Do people have to purchase these dogs?
For our service dogs and our guide dogs, it's actually free to them. We are, through donations and that type of thing, we're able to, and being a non-for-profit, we're able to bring everybody in who is visually impaired in service dogs for free of charge. They're able to receive the training that they get, and the dog.
How much does it cost to train a dog and how long?
Ultimately, it comes down to about $60,000 a dog. And that's with training. It's about 2 years worth of training, but the students also stay with us for about 4 weeks. So it's, boarded and all the meals, all the equipment. Like this equipment that you see with her now is what our students will go home with. And training really starts from the day they're born.
I've already introduced myself, so I'm just going to introduce Amy. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Amy Smart.
Boom. Well, hi. I am really happy to be here and excited to play the mother of this wonderful actress and the wife of this wonderful actor. And I get to know you just a little bit.
Yeah,
But,
you're fine, Jack. You're fine.
But I'm excited to be part of this story. I think it's a really important story that's being told, and for an incredible cause, and to raise more awareness of Southeastern guide dogs. And I love that some of the money is going back to raise money for this organization. And again, this story is so important because this family goes through the trauma, and then they come through the other side with this inspiration and hope, and you kind of get to watch the honest feelings of a family going through this. And I hope that other people can be inspired by this and get connected with maybe a companion pony if they feel inspired. So.
And Amy and I did a movie a couple years ago in Idaho, and ever since then, I just anytime I write, I basically just create these characters for Amy, and this one was the one that I was like, so can you do this one? And she's like, finally, yeah, okay, I dig this one. There's actually a message here. But I think when we worked together, it was like she has this very kind soul and cares so much about things that mean more than just a script, right? And this has a deeper meaning, I think, and so I thought it would appeal to her.
And so she was the first person attached. She was the first person it went out to.
I feel really lucky. Thank you, Castile. I was drawn to it because it was a very honest, real story, and I've played a mom now a few times, but it just had so much heart and so much honesty, and to see that, to have a daughter go through losing her sight was just so emotional, and I've never sort of experienced that type of loss before, and I wanted to play a character that had to deal with that and learn more about it, and that's what it was. And that it actually is for a good cause as well. It sort of has that double meaning where it's inspiring and it's a family drama, and the proceeds, some of the proceeds then go back to giving back, which I really like. Well, I just got here, so I can't wait to take a tour and play with the puppies and meet more of the people that work here and meet some of the dogs, and so, but I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited.
That's out of my pay scale. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. That's really a distributor's call, right? They kind of, I guess, analyze the market and see where that goes. And I think that this one, in contrast to my most recent film, is going to be a little bit easier to edit. And so I think it'll be done more quickly. I actually think my first film, which I shot a year ago, will come out around the same time that this one comes out, which will be hopefully a very fun fall/winter.
I think that this character goes on a roller coaster ride of emotions, and like any kind of loss or trauma, there's the shock, the denial, the different levels of dealing. And I think ultimately her to become a really strong mother for her daughter and to become that rock for her daughter to then grow and move through this change and feel good about herself. So I think for me, just that whole spectrum of emotion and coming through the other side. But I haven't started filming yet, so I don't know if that's going to come through yet. I'm hoping. We'll see where it takes us.
Oh yeah, I used to come here when I was a kid and hang out with the puppies and stuff. And then, yeah, really. No, I just made that up. Shh. And then also, this idea of a guide pony is really kind of where it stemmed from. A girl who couldn't have a guide dog. But like the idea of a pony came to me first, and then I kind of had to reconcile that and put it into reality. And I just connected the dots, I guess, from there. Because a guide pony is not really a thing. She's a companion animal, right? Because unlike if you're on our set, you'll know this, unlike these well-trained dogs, the pony is out of control. Would not recommend them for like any sort of responsibility. But they're adorable, and I think they'd be great companion animals because the wonderful thing about them is that, like, how do you resist a little pony that wears shoes? You can't, right? You just immediately love them. But yeah, as far as like a responsible, like, it's nice to have the dogs, right, to contrast with that. And contrast they do.
Is the little horse, is it local? Was it from here?
No, I had the idea, and before I even wrote the script, we bought the pony, and we had the trainer from Bulgaria that trained my last movie horse. We're like, we need you to train this pony. And we needed her to be really small, so she's still a baby. And she's 24 inches, and she's only gonna get to be 25 inches. That was really important to us, that like the smaller the better, but also healthy. It's hard to find. A lot of these movie ponies are dwarfs, and that's not good. So she's like a very healthy one, but she actually was kind of rescued from a not as great home. So we're doing a lot of good here. I'm not keeping her. I'm not keeping her, but she's staying with the trainer. That was part of our deal. You know, we got the pony for the movie, and then the trainer will keep her, which she didn't realize that meant like a 35-year commitment. So hopefully she's still getting residuals at that point. I don't know how that works. Oh my goodness. Here he is.
What's up?
Thank you, Bert. So I won't ask Castile to introduce Mr. Burt Reynolds to you. However, in the interest of time, we've got some questions that we wanted to ask you, Bert, on behalf of our media that's here. And first of all, welcome to Southeastern Guide Dogs officially, and thank you so much for being part of this film. Can you tell us, Bert, what interested you about this script? What compelled you to do this part?
Well, I haven't done a picture in a long time that's a real family sweet picture. And I needed to do one. I can't keep jumping off of buildings, doing things like that. You know, I'm too old for that. And it's a delightful, sweet story with a wonderful young cast and a little horse who's just a pain in the ass. No, he's wonderful. No, he's wonderful.
And tell us, you're being directed by a young female director, Castile Landon over there. And do you have any comments about, you've been a director as well as an actor. Do you have any thoughts about being directed by a young woman that you want to share?
It's nice. She's very sweet. She knows what she's doing. She's very prepared. And I like that.
Are there any insights about your character that you would like to share with us? Are you playing him as kind of a wise old guy, a cantankerous guy? What kind of personality does he have?
Well, I hope he's likable. I was talking about Ben Johnson, and our young director didn't know who that was, and I wanted to quit the movie then. But Ben Johnson is one of my heroes, and it's very similar to the kind of pictures that he did. He knows, but I had at one time 27 horses, which was really stupid, and they just they didn't do anything except poop and eat. They didn't make me any money, but they were beautiful, and I had them in a lot of shows and stuff.
So how is it working with this little pooping and eating apple pony and the dogs, the well-trained dogs?
Well, he steals everything but your underwear.
Have you any comments about working with animals and children?
Well, you're not supposed to work with horses, animals, or children. And that's all I'm working with in this movie. And they're all terrific. They're all stealing everything. They're terrific. It's a wonderful cast.
Tell us a little bit about your experience here at Southeastern Guide Dogs. Has anything surprised you or anything been particularly interesting about working on this particular set?
Well, the animals, of course, are wonderful. Very, very sweet. And look at that one, taking a nap when I'm up here. And they're really fun to be around. It's a good group.
Have you personally had any experience with the visually impaired or in your own life?
Yes, I've had a lot of experience, actually.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I had a friend, a very dear friend, who I played football with in high school, who gradually was going blind. And when it happened, he faced it with such bravery. and class. I only wish that I had that kind of class if anything like that happens.
Avery, I'm wondering, have you had scenes with Bert yet? Have you shot scenes with Bert? If so, tell us about what it's been like working with him.
Yeah, we've done, I don't know how many, a few scenes together so far. And he's incredible. It's amazing. Like, when I first met him, I was kind of terrified and just like, but in a good way, and like a totally respectable, not terrified, I'm sorry. I meant like, I was really nervous. I met him and I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't actually, like it was surreal to me at first, but he's amazing and he's incredible and he's shared so much with me and I'm just so grateful to be working with him.
Question for Castile about that. So you have the full spectrum of actors in this film, very, very newbie and very experienced and renowned.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about working with that broad spectrum of actors.
The newbie being the pony. It's been really great. I kind of did the same thing on my last film, and I really love that because that's who my audience is, right? Like that, when you're making family films, you're making films that appeal to small kids that may not get every nuance that you're trying to put in there. That goes over their head, which is fantastic. And then you're also creating things for them to connect with their grandparents over. And so to be able to work with actors where it spans that spectrum is a really great thing. And it also helps me as a director kind of keep this meta view of everything so that I know that I'm on track generationally. I don't know. I have a degree in English. I can't speak, though. Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah, I think that that's really helpful. And I've now gotten on both of my films to work with absolute legends, Bert, obviously, and then in my last one, John Cleese. And so that's like a dream come true, you know? And then also being able to work with people who have done different kinds of work and transitioning into their adult careers, which I think is what's so awesome about working with Jack. Yeah. And Spartacus here, because this is a very different role for him. It's awesome to be able to like learn everybody's idiosyncrasies and play to that.
This question is for Charlie, actually, because you've been so prominent in television, and I don't know that you've done a feature film, or have you? Pardon me, I don't know. Independence, okay. So have you yet had the experience where you can answer what this is like for you, how it's different than doing television?
I mean, I know some of these faces from television as well, but...
Oh, sorry.
I know that some of these faces are from television as well. You were credible on the show as well, I was just going to say. We just met today. I haven't met anybody yet. I know that from the experience as an actor, I always just kind of get by the storyline. And a story like this is an easy one to kind of go with. It's so well written, it's so laid out, your characters are so flushed. They're definitely layered and have dynamic, but you can see everything there. It makes it easy to attack it, work on it, and then deliver a story. So I think it's kind of the same thing, same deal for each one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's pretty amazing. I mean, bouncing between television and film. I've done, you know, some feature work and some independence, but working with someone like Castile, who really has everything under her belt. I mean, writing, directing, producing, you know, also acting in our film, which we haven't really talked about. But, you know, it's cool to meet a fellow actress that is that, that dynamic and experienced and passionate. And, you know, she wants to make a film, she makes it happen. It's really inspiring. It's a really cool thing. I have not taken on as much as she has, not near it, but I recently produced a film with my sister and starred in it with her, and just that task alone, I mean, it was a huge learning process, and to also add on directing like she's done and writing the screenplay is really a huge feat. So it's cool to work with someone that I truly respect.
I think also bringing it back home too is inspiration. I mean, Castile's an incredible woman. She's inspired me from the day that I met her. I wish that I had an inch of what she has. But then also to do this project, to bring it back home, it's wonderful. I mean, and specifically for the program too, to bring it back to them.
I wanted to ask Bert one more question, if I may. Bert, in all the different genres that you've worked in television and movies and everything else, and directing and acting, etc., what does it take to do a role like this versus something else you've done in the past? And what have you done that you particularly loved and remember and want to be remembered for?
Well, I have played a lot of rogues, and kind of rough and tough and all that kind of stuff. But I like very much the opportunity to play a hopefully likable guy who's falls in like with a little tiny horse who steals everything.
And I've known the Southeastern Guide Dog people. I used to come out here when I was a kid, so that was a long time ago. And we used to bring our horses out and let the students ride our horses back when it was just a big open 35-acre field with just a few buildings. So we've known each other for a long time. And but this guy's brand new on to set. He literally, this is Anthem. He just arrived about 20 minutes ago, or a half hour ago, and he's with Gentle Carousel. They go into hospitals and visit kids, and so they're going to have better manners than our trick horse over here. And they go, when there's been like school shootings or something like that where kids are traumatized, they'll bring these horses in to provide therapy to the kids and get the kids talking and such. So they were kind enough to agree to bring in a little baby for us. I really don't want to get into that. No, actually, she's my daughter. Castile's my daughter. She got me into the film business, though, so she tends not to want to make that really known. She doesn't want people to think that I gave her a role. I've actually produced 7 films before I ever produced one for her, and but her films are doing much better already than a lot of the other films I've done, and she, like I said, she brought me into the business, so.
I have a friend that had like 5 dogs, and I would have, before we came here, I'd have her go on walks and stuff with us and playtime with the dogs, and then we met Kate here at Southeastern Guide Dogs, and she came out a few times and got to introduce the dogs with Apple, and we'd go on walks over at Dory's place and got them acquainted that way.
Do they seem to get along through the...
Yeah, they've been really good. Apple gets a little bit jealous of the dogs once in a while. And I think some of the dogs, like Butter, is a little bit intimidated by Apple.
Now we know why, because we just saw that. and Apple's kind of protective and still at that babyish age and snotty.
What's your shooting schedule?
We're filming, we're on our 9th day. We're going to do 14 days locally. We're shooting it all within about a 3-mile radius. So we're wrapping, we had to actually push our wrap up. We're wrapping May 5th because May 6th we're flying up to Bentonville for the premiere of the film that we shot in Bulgaria. She's like, Anthem has left the building.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. While we're waiting to go down, I thought perhaps we'd have Susie Wilburn and Carson come up, and you might have some questions about Susie from the perspective of an actual graduate of Southeastern Guide Dogs, who is our Director of Admissions and Graduate Services, and her dog Carson is a Southeastern Guide Dog, and AJ's character is based upon Susie.
The whole crew, from Castile all the way down, they've been very sensitive to the fact that I'm visually impaired, and they wanted to make sure they did things the right way, which is important for our community. And like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure having them here. We're so honored that they chose to film here and involve our staff and our dogs. Butter is playing Carson, by the way, in the film. He's not too thrilled that a female's playing him, but he'll deal with it. Do you guys have any questions for me?
What is your eye vision like? What is your...
I have no central vision. I have a genetic recessive disorder called Stargardt's disease. It's an adolescent disease, but I was 27, so I'm a late bloomer. I'm also the only one in my family with it. I chose not to have children, so I'll be the last one in my family with it. I was an athlete growing up. I played soccer internationally. I was 27, I was an IT professional, and I noticed on the computer screen that the cursor would disappear in the center of the screen. And I thought something was wrong with the computer because I was an athlete, and there was nothing wrong with me. So I ignored it for about 6 months, and I worked here locally in Sarasota, and I was driving home, and I approached a traffic light that I had approached for 6 years driving home, and I couldn't find the traffic light. And at that point, I knew something was wrong, and I went through some eye testing. I went to a retinal specialist, and he told me I had Stargardt's disease, I would go blind, and to please come back in a year, and he walked out of the room. And my life was turned upside down. I was completely devastated. Within 5 years of that moment, I could no longer drive. I couldn't sit on the couch and read a book. I couldn't cook dinner without hurting myself. It was a complete life change for me. And I'll tell you, as an athlete, I was very arrogant. I was very good at what I did. This humbled me immediately. And it's made me a better person. This gift I was given, the loss of my vision, I get to come to work every day and I get to talk to people that are curious about guide dogs. They're curious of what it takes to get one, and that's what I get to do every day. I get to talk to them and tell them what a great life I have now that I've lost my vision. And like Castile said, when I put the leash on Carson, I took it off of my husband. I'll never tell him that, by the way. But he gets to do his life love. He gets to travel and play music because I'm safe now with Carson, and he gets to have a life. And for those of you that are married, if your husband or wife goes away for 20 days at a time, you can imagine how great life is. When he comes home, we fall in love all over again. But he can only do that because of Carson. And I can only have the life I have because of Southeastern. You know, they talked about this not costing us anything. If Carson came with a bill, I wouldn't have him. I couldn't afford it. But the generosity of our donors, it's second to none. We don't take government funding. We simply have private donations from a generous community. And we couldn't do what we do every day without them. They're our backbone. I haven't bored you to death yet. Any other questions?
So you're stabilized now?
That's what they tell me. They tell me that every year. I don't go back to that eye doctor, by the way. I go to a different one. But what I don't see is I can't see faces. I can't see the detail of someone. Colors are a little hard. That's why I love to wear the uniform, because I don't have to think. Blues and blacks and browns, they're the same to me. Pinks, yellows, reds, oranges. Sure, they're the same as well. But when I look directly in front of me, I see like white noise. It sparkles in a very condensed area. But I see it when my eyes are open, and I see it when my eyes are closed. So it makes it difficult falling asleep at night. But Carson comforts me. He doesn't sleep in the bed with me. But it really made me look at my life and how much time I wasted being an arrogant athlete and not letting people in my life, because boy, when this happened, I needed help and I didn't have people to help me. So I will tell you, working at Southeastern Guide Dogs, this is the first place I've ever been that doesn't treat me like I'm a visually impaired person. They treat me like a person. In fact, half of the staff forgets I'm blind. But they treat me like I am the best thing in the world. My vision loss is not what defines me here. My passion for my job and helping the people that we serve and being inspired by those people is what defines me. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susie. We also have our CEO, Titus Herman. If you have a couple of questions at all about Southeastern Guide Dogs, what we do, why we do it, etc., if you have anything at all you'd like to ask.
We're here with Ruth Lando, Manager of Media Relations for Southeastern Guide Dogs. We have such great event coming up today.
We're very excited. There's a wonderful movie being filmed called And Then There Was Light, and it's a Hollywood film, and the story is about a young girl who's an equestrian, and she has a very bad accident and loses her vision gradually, and she would love to get a guide dog, but she ends up getting a companion pony, and this is Apple, the companion pony, and she makes friends, and her life is changed by coming to Southeastern Guide Dogs. But it's a great opportunity for us to have more awareness in the community and outside of our normal community. We're very excited. They've been filming here for about a week, and they'll be wrapping up this week. So it's not every day you get a Hollywood film with Burt Reynolds and Amy Smart and other great celebrities on your campus.
And what does it mean for Southeastern Guide Dogs? You say, creating the awareness and living your mission and changing people's lives.
Well, that's really what we're all about, and that's what resonated with us about this movie, because this girl goes through a very difficult time, of course, losing her vision, not being able to ride anymore, coming to terms with losing her sight. And we do that every single day with the extraordinary people that we deal with. We have a very inspiring group of people that come here every year, and they spend 26 days on our campus if they're visually impaired, learning how to work with our superhero guide dogs. And dogs transform people's lives. It's about a 2-year process to create a guide dog, from the time that we do their genetics and reproduction right here on our campus to the point where they go home with a student who's learned how to work with them. We call them their handler. And we follow them for the rest of their lives. And it's at absolutely no cost. And we have no government funding. We rely upon donors and the good foundations and kind people out there who support our mission. But we felt that this was a kind of an example of a transformation in a life through a very special animal, and that's what we do. We serve not only visually impaired, though, we also serve veterans who are suffering from PTSD, and we provide service dogs for them. And we also provide dogs who go into hospitals, medical facilities for veterans. They're therapy dogs. And we have ambassador dogs. There are lots of different ways that our dogs serve, but they all serve human beings in some way.
Right here in Manatee County, how can people help?
Well, we've been here for 33 years, and people can help by donating, of course. We're always looking for help that way. We have a core of over 700 volunteers who give us their time, their talent, and their treasure. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. So they're welcome to go on our website, which is guidedogs.org. There's some really good videos there showing our mission, showing what we do, kind of behind the scenes at Southeastern Guide Dogs. You can get a really good sense of the kind of work that's done here. And they can volunteer and help in many, many ways. We have walkathons. We have 9 walkathons a year. This year, the walkathons raised $1 million for our programs. We have so many different programs that serve the visually impaired and veterans, and there are many ways for people to help. From the little children making little collars for our puppies, you can pay $10 to come and puppy hug, which is a very special thing. You get to sit on the floor with a group of tiny puppies and be kissed to death. And that money that you pay, that $10, goes towards the food for the dogs and taking care of them. We also have a guide dog experience that people can take part in for $15, where they actually get a blindfold walk with one of our trainers, which is a profound thing, because until you've witnessed and experienced that total blackness of vision and walking with a dog and seeing how much our students depend upon their dogs, it really changes your perspective. And not every single person who comes here is blackout blind. They are all along the spectrum. They have to be legally blind, and they have to have worked with a cane on what's called orientation and mobility so that they know their way around a bit. But they can come from the tiniest small town in Arkansas to New York City, all over the country. And they'll come and stay here in this facility for 26 days, as I was saying, and learn how to work with their superhero dog.
And I see some construction going on. Tell me about what's coming up.
We are in a very exciting time here at Southeastern Guide Dogs. We have a brand new student center being built where we will be able to go from 9 rooms for students to stay in to 12. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be fabulous, and it will finally house us in a better way. I mean, our buildings are 33 years old, most of them, and they're kind of been used hard, and they're like a pair of jeans that you love. They've been washed too many times and they're faded and run down. But we're also building a new puppy kennel, and the Puppy Academy is going to be a fabulous place for us to not only whelp or birth the baby puppies, but we keep them until they're 10 weeks old. And that's another thing that people can do. We have a group of volunteer puppy raisers who take the puppies into their home like a foster family when they're 10 weeks old. And they socialize them and teach them basic manners and basic obedience. They're part of a group that meets twice a month. And at the end of about a year, they bring them back for training to our Guide Dog University. And that's when they begin to be assessed for their talents and skills and temperament, and whether or not they'll become guide dogs or go into some other career. And those puppy raisers are an amazingly important part of what we do. We have about 250 puppy raisers, I believe, right now. And we need more all the time, because when Mother Nature is good to us and we have several dozen puppies born at once, at 10 weeks, we've got to have homes for them. And the puppy raisers are a very special breed, pardon my pun, because they love these dogs, but they know that someone else needs the dogs. So some of them have raised upwards of 40 dogs in their home because they love them and they enjoy having them, but they know they have to bring them back when it's time for them to go on to higher education.
Had no idea the breadth and the depth of what Southeast Guide Dogs does for our community and for the world.
It is amazing. We have almost 3,000 teams out there that we've created, and we serve them for the rest of their lives. I mean, if you were visually impaired and got a dog from us, we would help you for the rest of your life. If that dog retired or, God forbid, passed away, you would get another dog if possible, and we would become bonded with you, and you become part of the Southeastern family, and that is a true family experience.
We thank you, Ruth, for all you do and for really helping not only our veterans, but people that, have the disability and blindness. And if you want some puppy love, come here to Southeastern Guide Dogs. We're here with Susie Wilburn. And Susie, you are the Director of Admissions.
Yes, ma'am. Director of Admissions and Graduate Services. So Southeastern Guide Dogs, my role is to help those that are searching for a guide dog or a service dog go through the process and explain to them exactly what they're in for. It's really exciting for me. I'm a graduate myself, so I have a Stargardt's disease. It's a central vision loss. So I kind of know what they're going through, and I know what life's like before guide dog and definitely what it's like after guide dog. Carson's my savior.
And we have Carson here.
He's my guide dog. We've been together since September of 2011. And, he's given me a sense of freedom and independence I didn't even have when I was fully sighted. He really has saved my life. He saved my marriage. He really is everything in the world to me. And I tell people that are fully sighted, if I could explain to you how important he is, if you came up to me, anybody came up to me today and said, we'll fix your eyes. It's your one shot in your life. Give us Carson. I would not trade him. I would prefer to be blind with my dog than to have my vision back. That's what his life is like with me.
That's powerful. And someone is playing you. Who's playing you in the movie?
AJ Mashalka, and she's a phenomenal lady. I got to meet her yesterday, and we sat down on the couch and we chatted, and what a down-to-earth, pleasant person, and she really wanted to know what my life was like, and for me, it's really powerful to know that my story can inspire somebody. It's been a tough road for me, but with Carson by my side, life is so great. And for her to sit down and just say, "Tell me about yourself," has just been phenomenal. So she's really in tune to what my vision loss has done and what my role here is at Southeastern Guide Dogs and what I do to help people to get their guide dogs. So it's been really fun.
And what would you share with other people that are facing these challenges?
There's hope. It's not the end of the world. When I was first diagnosed, it really devastated me. I was very independent. I was an athlete. When it took my vision, it took my life. It took my work. It took my ability to go out and get on a bike. It took my ability to just sit down and read a book. And it took me about 4 years to come to the conclusion that I really needed to get over it and try to live again. So I want people to know that it's not the end of the world. In fact, it's the beginning of a whole new chapter. My vision loss at first was a curse. It's a gift now. It's a gift because every day I get to come to work and I get to help somebody change their life. And who can say that on a daily basis, that I help somebody regain freedom that they've lost? So that's, for me, is the most special thing.
And so many people, well, we take it for granted, our sight. We take a lot of things for granted every day. And to know that there's hope. And Southeastern Guide Dogs, their mission, they help everybody that is challenged with their sight.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things that's a comfort for somebody who's calling in saying, "What do I do?" I can say, financially, you don't need to worry about this. We take care of the bill. We bring you the student here for 26 days. We provide everything to them at no cost. For Southeastern Guide Dogs, we don't receive any government funding. All of our donations are from generous donors and funds and things like that, private. No government funding whatsoever. And the generosity of our donors is second to none. But for me, it's tens of thousands of dollars for a dog to be created and trained to be matched with me. And if there was a bill, I wouldn't have been able to do it, and a lot of people wouldn't. So in order for them to come here, we take care of them. We cook for them while they're here. We have 2 chefs on staff. We train them with their dog. We give them the equipment. And then we give them a lifetime of service once they leave here. So we're not handing them a dog and sending them out into the world. If they ever encounter any problems, we go see them. We go to them, and that's for the lifetime of their team. So we've created a family, and that's what it feels like here.
And I feel your passion, and it's so heartfelt, the need and the want for you to help others and to have Carson by your side.
And you know what? He's an icebreaker for me. He allows me to tell my story to people. He allows me to talk to somebody who might be a little shy about coming to Southeastern and really about the whole guide dog experience. Just petting him can calm somebody and let them open up to me. And, for me, I travel with him alone. I don't need a person there with me. That gives me my independence and my dignity back. I had lost all of that. And with him, I have it. I'm more confident. I'm a nicer person. I'm happy. And I wasn't that for a very long time. So when I say he saves my life, it's not just because he keeps me safe in my community, but he keeps me sane. So he's really everything I could imagine and more. And it was a gift from Southeastern Guide Dogs. And that's, for me, the best part.
Thank you for helping change people's lives and for being an inspiration. We're here with Castile Landon, writer-director of And There Was Light. Tell me a little bit about your inspiration for this film.
My inspiration for the film was I really like telling family stories, and I wanted to do something that I haven't seen myself recently, but I know that I grew up with these kind of inspirational films that were real and featured really strong female leads who were not necessarily like glamorized, Disney Channel, like Miley Cyrus, not Miley now, but like Hannah Montana, right? That's what I wanted someone that I could relate to who maybe did talk back a little bit or had something
but also was going through something really tough, because that's the growing up process, right? Is like going through all of these changes in your life. And Bailey, the lead character, she's losing her eyesight, so that's kind of even more extreme, but it's still something we can all relate to as young people, because we're all going through these changes. So that's really where it stemmed from.
And you're from Bradenton.
I am from Bradenton, or Terracea. I live like 5 minutes away. I grew up like 5 minutes away. I went to Bradenton Prep and then St. Stephen's for school, so very much a local.
And Harvard and now Oxford?
Yeah, I'm finishing up my undergrad studies at Harvard, and then I'll be going to Oxford for my master's this fall.
That's so exciting. And tell me the awareness that this film is going to create in the community and in the world.
Well, yeah, it's such a prolific thing. People don't realize that there's almost 300 million people with visual impairments in the world. So it's not a minor subset of people, right? And losing one of your senses is just such a profound thing, and I think people don't necessarily realize it. As I didn't even realize it when I started writing it until I sat down. We partnered with Southeastern pretty early on after like the first draft of the script, so all the subsequent drafts were based on discussions I had with people here, and every single time it's like I want to tell all of these people's stories. I actually went back from my first draft. I did a revision and added a character who's directly based on someone I met here, and that's the character that AJ Mataka plays, Kai. So it was really beneficial to get to see that firsthand, and I hope that the film conveys that, and also conveys that these people are normal. They're going through difficult things, but it's not a weird, strange thing, right? It's just that's what some people's realities are.
Thank you so much for spending time. I know you have a lot of things to do today. Get ready for the press conference. And thank you for helping people triumph over darkness.
Thank you.
We're here with Titus Herman, CEO of Southeastern Guide Dogs. What a powerful event today. And I'm sure it just matches so with your mission. Tell me more about that.
It does. Southeastern Guide Dogs creates some truly extraordinary dogs that transform people's lives the way this miniature horse transforms this young girl's life in the movie. And we are hoping that this movie will bring notoriety to our mission and help more people connect with what we do, whether they're in need of a guide dog or a service dog, or whether they would like to volunteer or support us through their financial contributions.
And Susie's story today was just, it's heartfelt. What in her life, how it's changed having a guide dog.
Our dogs do change lives in a very tangible way. And I think they're going to ask us to, Sorry, guys. It's all right. Sorry, what was the question again?
And that they change lives, how the dogs impact people's lives.
Yes, these dogs, of course, are guide dogs, and they help people regain their independence and mobility. But even more importantly, they provide the recipients with confidence, with encouragement, and with hope. And that together conspires to truly transform people's lives in amazing, miraculous ways.
And what do you want people to take away from this film?
We want people to take away the fact that Southeastern Guide Dogs is here to help people who need a little helping hand.
And the outreach that you do here, and you have from puppies, and you house the students, so to speak, and you bring them in, and everything's free to them.
Yes, Southeastern Guide Dogs is a nonprofit organization. We provide all of our dogs and services completely free of charge, and we receive no government funds, but instead rely 100% on private contributions.
Well, thank you so much for all you do for this community and the world, and giving people that opportunity to connect with the dogs and have them be a part of their life.
It is truly our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Titus. Jack, you're enjoying the dogs here.
Yeah, the dogs are incredible. They're so cute. They're playing with my ripped jeans. Look at this guy right here. Hello. So cute.
I think that's what you like about this film.
I mean, the dogs are great. Working with dogs are awesome, and the pony is awesome. I mean, working with animals in general is just a completely different experience, and to get to come to Southeastern Guide Dogs is really, really cool, and get to have this, hands-on, one-on-one experience is once in a lifetime.
Tell me what the film has meant to you and the impact it's had on you.
I think just a general respect for the blind community and really diving into this character, because my character is completely blind since birth, never seen anything before, and it's just a completely different aspect of life that I never even thought of. So just a real respect for anyone who's been through that or was born blind, anything like that. Just I've never really thought about it like I have the past month, and it's been really cool.
And you said you had to go through that training. I mean, you had the sunglasses. You even went out and tried it on your own.
No, yeah, I did it before I came to Florida. When I was in LA, I went out in public and just basically was blind for a while, and it's eye opening. Ironically, yeah, it's very different, but very cool. And like I said before, just a general respect that I never had before. Yeah.
Well, thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you in the film.
Thank you very much.
We're here with Nick Bateman, who plays the eye doctor in the film.
Yes, I'm Dr. Grant. I have a small role, but it's fun to be a part of this film. I just got to run around with a bunch of puppies and meet the horse and everything, and I am a big animal lover, so I am happy to be here.
And you're just getting started today? Just flew in?
Yeah, I flew in last night. I just came on set today to do some press and meet the rest of the cast and Bert and everyone. So yeah, it's been great, and obviously meeting the animals, but I'm shooting tomorrow.
Great. And what does this mean to you to be involved in this film?
It's always good to be a part of something that is making awareness for a cause that's usually, no one really sheds light on it. So I've never really had to deal with any, blindness in my family or anyone around me. So I have personally never thought about it. So when I took a look at this film, I thought, if I have personally never thought about it, I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't. So it's good to shed light on it and realize that some people, don't have vision. So it's it feels good to be part of a film that means something and is giving back to a community, like giving back to the guide dog place. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We look forward. Great success in the film.
Yeah, no, I do too. I'm excited. The young director, Castile. It's cool to see a young female director, her second feature, and she's so young. So it's I love people who are trying to do their own thing and making it happen at such a young age.